We are just 6 days away from Anaheim 1, and I'm looking forward to seeing what everyone's going to bring to the table this year. So we're going to go through and talk about some of the riders and how we think they might perform this season. And stay tuned for later in the video because we're going to tell you how you can actually win prizes weekly and a grand prize at the end of the season. So stay tuned toward the end of the video to find out more about that. But let's get right into it. So every year it seems to be, we always say this is the most stacked season ever. But this year we've got 5 previous Supercross champions lining up on the gate in A1. Number 1 being the reigning champ Jet Lawrence, Chase Sexton, last year's winner, the year before that, Eli Tomac, and we've also got Cooper Webb, Jason Anderson. It's going to be a great season. And not to mention, now we've got the 2-time 450 MXGP world champ, Jorge Prado, who's going to be over here. And it's just, the gate is stacked. It's going to be a great season. Hopefully all the guys stay healthy all the way through, but it's going to be a good season. So the big question coming into this year has been a question for quite a long time now. Everyone's like, can anyone beat Jet Lawrence? And that's not just what the fans and media are saying. That's the riders themselves. That's their biggest question, is do they have what it takes to beat Jet? Jet is the target. I know I'm tired of always hearing about Jet Lawrence this, Jet Lawrence that. But hey, he's earned it. He has come in and he's won everything pretty much that he's lined up for. So it makes sense that he's the number 1 target. And I hope we get to see some good battles and it not just be A1 Jet wins the next 5 rounds or whatever. So the big question is, who's going to be able to stop him? I personally think our best bet on a 17-round series is probably going to be week in and week out. If Chase Sexton can get that KTM figured out, I think he probably has the speed, one of the riders that can match Jet's speed on a weekly basis. Can he keep it on 2 wheels? We're going to have to find out. Then you've got a guy like Eli Tomac, where last year he came in returning from that Achilles heel injury, and we just never quite saw the Eli Tomac that we were hoping for, the 2022 Eli Tomac. Or even the 23 Tomac as well. Towards the end of the season last year, when Tomac came, he put a couple rounds in and outdoors, and then the SMX finals, and then seeing him over at the Des Nations, we saw a lot of improvement from when he had last been on the bike before the thumb injury in Supercross. So I'm hoping that trajectory maintains the way it's going and that we do see him come back, because if Eli is running the best Eli that we know, I think that's good enough to also beat Jet. So I feel like Tomac and Sexton are going to be capable of matching Jet's speed more than a couple of the others, but Cooper Webb always finds a way to work his way into these championships and stay there the whole fight. He almost stayed in it the whole season last year. Unfortunately, those injuries, they played a role and took a toll on him. But he's gritty. He's just like there week in and week out. And I don't know how you can count a guy like that out. I don't think he has the top speed every week that some of those guys have, but you can bet he's going to be there every weekend. And then you've got guys like Hunter Lawrence, who are still looking for their first Supercross win. AP wanting to add another one, as well as a rider like Ken Roxon, who we know is capable of winning every year. It's just, can he manage to find the speed and consistency for a full 20-minute plus 2-lap main event? And then Jason Anderson, we didn't get to see much of him out of last year. And with Jason, I wish we could see the level that we saw in 22 when he won more races that year into the Supercross season than he did in 2018 when he won the Supercross championship. I'm hoping he can get back to that level, and maybe with the new teammate Jorge Prado, maybe there's an extra push at the test track, at the practice track, someone else out there, maybe that can help bridge that gap. And as far as Prado goes, I mean, I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. I think by the end of the season, we do see him podium a few of the races as we start nearing the outdoor season. I think he just needs some time to get adjusted to not only a new team, new bike, but a full season of Supercross. He came in last year, did I think it was 3 or 4 rounds, and did fairly well, but he didn't have the mindset of this is what he was going to do the whole season. He had MXGP title on his mind, so I don't know that we saw the best Prado at the start of last year that we could see this year. So I think we're going to see him, the learning curve on that. I think he'll figure it out pretty fast and start challenging for podiums as we end or near the end of the Supercross season. All right, so now moving on to the 250 class. For the information that we've seen so far, we've got Hayden Deegan, who posted that he will be racing the West Coast. So we're going to see him at the Anaheim opener. Also, Triumph has announced that Austin Faulkner and Jordan Smith will be lining up for Anaheim. Pro Circuit's going to have Garrett Marchbanks and Levi Kitchen. And we should see Joe Shimoda on the West Coast. Red Bull KTM is going to have Julian Beaumer. Tom Vial is going to stay on the East and defend that East Coast title this year. So there's a whole other list of riders that'll be lining up for the 250 class on the West Coast. But I want to touch base on a couple of those main guys, looking at Hayden Deegan, Austin Faulkner, and Levi Kitchen. I have those as my top 3 overall for this season. With Joe Shimoda, it's just like every year we keep thinking that he's going to make that step, and then it just doesn't happen until later in the season. And I'm hoping that he can get it turned around. I want all these riders to do good, but I'm not sure what we're going to get out of him for those first few rounds, and those are key. The Supercross series for the 250 guys is such a short series, being only half the races of the normal 17. So if you have a couple of off weeks, round 1, 2, and 3, the championship just got a lot harder, especially with the level of guys we have in there. Now, there's been a lot of talk that I've heard of people talking about how good Hayden Deegan is going to do. Some people have even said, could this be the perfect season? Maybe so. But with riders like Austin Faulkner and Levi Kitchen, I don't think that's likely to happen. The big question you have with Austin Faulkner is, can he stay healthy? I don't think he's completed a single Supercross season yet. I don't think even an outdoor season healthy. There's always been an injury that comes into play. An amazing rider to watch, super fast and very hard to beat when he's on, but you have to stay healthy for the championship. And I don't know if he can get that figured out on a new team. I think it's a good reset for him after that horrible injury at the second round of East Coast last year. So hopefully we see him get more wins and battle it out for the full championship. Even if he doesn't win the championship, just going through the full season without having a season-ending injury. Okay, so now getting on to the part about how you can win prizes weekly and a grand prize at the end of the season. We are starting a fantasy system, and unlike a lot of the fantasy leagues that are out there, we're doing 450 and 250 class both. The person with the best score, who got the most 450 and 250 riders correct in their picks, will be eligible to win a weekly prize, and your points will tally up throughout the season for the grand prize. In order to qualify for the weekly prizes, you will need to go on the site. The link will be below this video. Go to the link, go to the website, and sign up. A membership plan I've got on sale right now is $5 for the season. We're doing a sale for the first couple months here. Without that plan, you can still put your picks in. You can register with the site. We'll get you on there. But unless you have the membership, you won't be eligible to win the weekly prizes. You will count your points toward the grand prize at the end of the season, but your weekly prizes will not count unless you have that membership plan. So go check it out. Go to the website and get signed up, and early on. This channel is young. There's not a lot of people viewing it, so your chances of winning are extremely high right now. So share the video, let your friends know to sign up, and have some fun making picks in both 450 and 250 classes. This week's prize is going to be an Alpine Stars Vision 3 set of goggles. So make sure you get your picks submitted so that you can have a chance to win a pair of goggles. Well, that's all for this week. I'm looking forward to the race this upcoming Saturday night. Be sure and tune in and watch that, and make sure you get your picks in before the heat races start for the evening. The same time that they close for like the Rocky Mountain ATV Fantasy Group, that's the same time that ours will close as well. So you can still enter them on the site afterwards, but they will be timestamped. So make sure you keep that in mind and get those submitted beforehand. And then we'll look forward to seeing you next Sunday for the race review.